All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and welcome to this engineering investigation video. So, what these video series are is I just go and I try to find all of these different concepts and topics in engineering that I encounter throughout the day at work, at talking with my friends, wherever it is that I don't understand. And then I'd make a little bit of a note. I have my notes right there. I make a note like, "Hey, I didn't understand this concept. High level concepts, not specifics, but the high level concepts. Hey, I didn't understand this. Great. Now, when I come home, it's time to go and do investigations to try to say, well, what actually is going on here? What is it? And this way, we're able to boost our skills as engineers, boost our understanding of all of these different aspects that we come into contact with. But normally, if we don't take the time to actually study it in detail. Normally, if someone just says it to us and we don't know, and we just pass it off and then don't take the time to fully investigate it, well, then we're not going to know it for the next time. And then if we continue that pattern, we're just never going to know it. So, in these videos, what I'm trying to do is trying to counter that and say, well, if I encounter a concept that I don't understand, let's investigate it. So yeah, let's start right now. And the first one is going to be we're talking about C sharp and how does that actually integrate with an SQL database? How do these things interact? So I'm just going to go to Microsoft's page. So let's see, SQLite, uh, C sharp, Microsoft. All right. So obviously already clicked that. So now this is what we're trying to do. And now here's a variation of the code right here. So using var connection, new SQLite connection. Okay, so we have this variable here, this object called connection. And I see that we're doing certain operations on it. So we're doing connection.open, connection.create command, and then we're doing command text. So, okay, this SQLite connection is going to be part of this Microsoft library. So, data source equals hello.db. So that in SQL, what we're able to do is we have a database itself, and within this database, we have tables, and we can have multiple tables, and within each table, we have rows and columns. So this is the database, the entire database that can have multiple tables. So we haven't created a table yet. And we just get this to say, like, what I'm taking this to be as open file. Okay, open file. And we get this connection. Great. And now we can do file.open essentially. So we've connected to this database, this file. Now, something else that this connection has, this database, is we're able to create a command. I'm kind of curious about. So this is a method within the object of this connection object. So it's a method that returns an object, and we get another object back here. So then this object has a member variable called command text, which we set equal to this parameter. Now, what I want to know is what is the actual connection between this command variable and this connection variable? Is it inheritance? So how does this command know that it comes from this connection database? That this is the database that we want to send that command to. I'm not sure if they have, let's see, hello world sample. Hold up. There we go. So we have this hello world sample. I'm seeing a lot. Let's see, what's this? Program.cs. I want to find the actual kind of source code for like this right here. Like, let's see, SQLite C# source code. I don't know if they published the source code or not. I mean, this doesn't really look like a is found SQLite source code, whatever. Maybe this one? I see this GitHub, but it's not like from an official Microsoft account, so I'm not sure. Let's see, source, and we would be looking for program.cs, right? SQLite CS. Connection, I think. I saw something about connection. Hold on. Okay. Exception. Create flags. Okay, so this is an interface right here. Oh, no. Public partial class. We just happened upon another concept that I don't understand. What is a partial class? That doesn't make any sense to me. New nugget of information that we're going to learn today. Okay. Public partial class SQLite connection, and it inherits from. Actually, I don't know if that's the correct term, but it like takes from, or I don't know the correct term. Maybe we need to look that up too. But it inherits. I'm going to use that word maybe incorrectly. Inherits from an interface, which is SQL. Come on. Oh, here. Okay. SQLite connection. Okay. So we have this interface here, which I'm blocking it. Oh, that's okay. So I don't believe GitHub did that in the past. I remember it was really difficult to search for things in GitHub, but that's nice that we're able to do that. Um, preserve all members equals true. Okay, there's actually a lot going on that I'm not sure. Like, what are these brackets? I haven't really seen that. I don't know what this preserve keyword is. All members, like, I don't know what this means at all. So we're gonna look that up. Okay, so what was my initial question? Let's go back to my question. I was looking here and I wanted to know the connection between connection and command. So let me take a sip of coffee. Okay, so no, this is not. This is the one. Okay. Okay, so I want to find. This is connection here, so I need to find that method, which is SQLite connection. The difference is the parameters passed in, I think. Quote, set key, rekey, rekey. Get mapping. Oh no, sorry. Public table mapping, get map. Drop table, create table results, create table results. Okay. So I'm looking for this create command, or like method. That's what I'm looking for right now. Is there a way to just like Control F? Now let me move myself wherever I am. Okay, so here we go. I'm actually I'm gonna move myself here. Okay, there we go. Then we can make this full screen, and we are good. Okay, so we found a couple instances up here and then down here, wherever they are. Okay, anyways. Here. So it looks like it's at the very tip of where my thing is. Okay, so these are part of which class are we in right now? Public interface. Okay, so we're creating this interface. Here is the interface. All right. So now in an interface, we're not actually implementing anything. We are just defining what is there. Okay. So string command. Yeah, so we're just defining this. So there's two SQLite command or create command methods. The only difference is the parameters that we pass in determines which one we do. So we're passing in none here. So which one would it be? I'm not sure. Come here and put my create table. Create table. Am I not seeing it? Hold on, let me. Okay. Here, here, here. That doesn't make any sense, but okay, whatever. Summary. Create a new SQLite command. Given the command text parameters, place a question mark in the command text for each of the arguments. So I know that we are going to eventually need to say like we do this thing where we say like $ID and then we fill in $ID with the actual variable, which is here. Is it even defined here? But I mean, it's defined somewhere. Maybe this is like an auto increment one, but So I know that there's going to be replacements which occur. The question is going to be, does this method itself do those replacements, or is that done somewhere else? So string command text, and then parameters is an object array called PS. Okay. So now if nothing is opened, and this is open is a member variable within the SQL connection object, and I'm guessing it is set to true when we do this connection.open. Then we return command, which command is new command here. So we do have something called new command. Should I click new command? What line is this? 1270. I'm probably not going to remember that, but oh, it's wait. In this file, like, can I go to the definition of it? Oh, this is the definite. I'm protected virtual SQLite command of this. And in C#, this is like self for Python. I just want to make sure that it's not exactly what I was hoping to do. Just wanted to highlight like this. There we go. I want to find out exactly which class we are in. Is this entire thing one class? Namespace. It's one namespace. Okay. Public class. Exception. Enum. Okay, so it's not one class. It's one namespace. Then we have the interface definitions. And then we have the class. So here is our class, and then we all the way until we see that highlighted section again. Yep. Okay, so this is part of that object. So when we're doing self, or this, we are referring to the class itself. Summary: creates a new SQL command, can be overwritten, and provide a subclass. Command. So I create connection.create command, and I get a variable back here. Let me copy this. We're going to go to Copilot, and I'm going to say question number 1 is going to be for this here. What does protected and virtual mean? What is going on in this method? Okay, that's question number 1, and then we'll have question number 2 once we feel like we're going to have a lot of questions, but that's good. That means a lot of learning. So, there we go. So, create command here. I think that's actually where we were. And then here's new command, so it's just right up there. So public SQL command is the return type. And we're returning this command here because we do that. Okay. Then we set the command text to be the passed in parameter. But here we're actually going to just change that parameter. That kind of makes sense. So, okay. And then for each O in PS, okay. And it is an array of objects. So we are iterating over this iterable of array objects, each time capturing it in O, just like we would do in like Python. Okay. Command here dot bind. Okay. Doesn't scroll automatically. That's awesome. Come on. Okay. Go back to Copilot, and we are going to say for this one, I want to know what does this cmd.bind O do? What is O? And what is the method? I'm just going to say doing, even though I have a general idea of what it's doing. I want to kind of make sure that, yeah. Okay, so number 3. So we've gotten that. And this is just, we're passing in a dictionary, and we're still doing that bind. So we need to figure out what bind actually is. That's something that we definitely need to do. Now, there was something I said at the beginning. Here's interface where we had some keywords that we didn't understand. Where is it? This partial class, there it is. Let's scroll up here because there was even more than just that. It was here. Yep. Okay, so this is going to be the third thing. So, what do the brackets do before the class name? I know in like Java Spring Boot, you're able to do an @ sign and then you say keywords, and these keywords are able to tell Spring hints or extra commands about the method that you're creating right down below, immediately following. I don't know if C# is working the same way. So, all members. What is all members? Does that mean all member variables? And why are we setting them to be true? Okay. What is a partial class? And what is the correct terminology when a class inherits not from another class, but from an interface. Oh, implements. That's what it's called. It's called implements. Implements an interface. Okay, we don't need to ask this. Let's press go. All right. While it's doing its thinking, I'm going to take a sip of some coffee here. All right. Looks like it is done thinking. So let's do our investigation. Okay, so protected virtual SQL command, new command. So protected access modifier. The method is visible only inside the class itself. Access modifier. Okay, access means trying to access that method. Okay, so we're modifying who is allowed to access this, and what would it be? Method here, right? So like a private method, now we're saying protected. And it's only inside of the class itself and in derived subclasses. So maybe that's the difference. That's going to be my next question is what is the difference between protected and private? Now, what I think is going to be the difference is private is only to that class itself. Whereas what it's saying here, protected, is going to be the method itself, or the class itself, and all of the subclasses. So everything that inherits from this parent class. Okay, not accessible from outside my code unless it's inherits. Okay, so virtual, I that's a new one. Means the method can be overwritten in a subclass using over. Isn't that all methods? Can't all methods be overwritten in their child class? Oops. I thought you could always do that. This allows customization and behavior in derived classes, but yeah, so what the method does, it creates a new SQL command object passing this, yep, the current connection to the construct. Okay, so, right, okay. And this is something that I feel like the more we struggle with object-oriented programming, the more we are going to be comfortable with its concepts. And that's also something that I remember one of my professors in school saying is, it was let's see, vector calculus. It was in my vector calculus class. She said, it's okay to struggle. It's actually a good thing to struggle because that means that you're learning something. And I remember that kind of shifted a little bit of my perspective, like, oh, yeah, it doesn't mean that I'm dumb if I'm struggling. It just means that I'm learning something new. And so, especially with like object oriented programming, it's more like trying to play with it enough and run into the same things enough times to get kind of a intuition about how all of these different components can fit together. So, let's see. So, I'm going to come back to here. I kind of wish I didn't lose my Where is the one where it... I lost my place. Sorry. Well, new command. All right. Anyways, so if we're creating a command, create command. Where is it passing this? Am I blind? I don't know. But okay, so we're passing that to the constructor of question number 1 here. What does protected in virtual mean? For here, protected SQL, so new command. Okay, so it's the new command one, which I thought was very close to create command. It's right here. I was so close. Okay. So this is another method, but it is a method to itself? And I pass the construct. It's a recursive call. What? Wait, hold on. No. 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 For let's okay. New SQLite command. SQL. No. I'm all messed up right now. Okay, so this is the object type right there. This is the object type, okay? And this is the method. I'm not calling recursively on itself. This is new command. This is SQLite command. Now I am creating that object here, and I'm passing the current object, which is going to be the connection, to this SQLite command. So there is inheritance going on. That's how there's the connection. Okay, so that kind of answers our question about how there's a connection is when we do this new command, it comes up to here and passes itself in to this SQLite command. And we actually might be able to go look at it. Is this the one with the bindings? No. Oh, whoa. There's a lot more going on here. Let me move this so it's easier to... That wasn't really easier to see. Okay, anyways. So we have getters and setters, list, bindings, partial, public partial class. Okay. We asked about partial classes, right? So we're going to learn about those. And so this SQL command has its own connection. Let's look at the constructor here. And we set the connection. Okay. There it is. There's the connection. So we set this new object connection equal to the connection object. So that's the connection right there. Okay. New list of bindings. Now, we've already investigated this before, but this is something, it's a list of type bindings, right? I believe that's what it means. Command text is just nothing at start. Okay, then we have execute non-query. So let's see if we actually do that here on this command. Using, because I remember seeing that. Let's go to the hello world example. We kind of, here's the hello world example. I remember seeing execute non-query on command. There we go. There we go. I'm kind of piecing things together. Okay, so execute non-query here does this, and now we could look into all of this right now, but I just wanted to know, like, okay, well, I think I'm getting the general layout of how things are working. I want to come back to here so that we can keep moving forward on some of these, and then maybe we go back to that. Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, let's keep going. Question number 2 here. 2. Okay. Public SQLite command create command here creates a new SQL command with placeholders question mark and binds arguments to those placeholders. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what that means. Param object array. PS. This means you can pass a variable number of arguments. So number 3, can you give me an example of how it would work to pass a variable number of arguments for this? Okay. Okay. So here PS is an array of 42 as ID and value 1 as Alice. Yep. Okay, so okay. Create command. I'm passing in a string. Create command. Let's execute. Create command. Here we go. So I'm passing in a this is the other one. Here we go. A string. And this is the one that has that binding. So command.bind that O, which O is going to be one by one plucking from this array here. So command text, okay, that's going to be this. Okay, so here's command text, and then we add extra parameters. Okay, that kind of, okay, and we just associate it one for one. The first one is 42, the second one is Alice, and we're looking for a question mark. So question mark is kind of a reserved. Would that be correct? Let's look at here at the hello world example. Where are our question marks? I'm not seeing question marks. I see command text is insert into users name. No, sorry, I'm not seeing it right now yet. Okay. Loops through each argument of O in PS and calls command.bind. What does command.bind do? It attaches the argument O to the next question mark placeholder in the SQL command. Okay. So now we're going back up to the declaration of this entire class. We said at the very top it was preserve all members equals true, and then we said public partial class SQLite connection. So the square brackets is an attribute in C#. Attributes are metadata applied to classes, methods, and properties. They influence how the compiler, tools, and frameworks treats the code. It sounds very similar to, I forget what it was called in Java Spring Boot, but was it directives? Okay. For the C# attributes, is this the same thing as Java Spring Boot @? Okay. Preserve attribute. Common in these contexts. Okay, it tells the compiler linker not to strip away unused members during optimization. Okay. So if we have a member variable that we don't use, we don't want the compiler or the linker to throw that variable away for optimization. We just say, hey, keep it. All members equals true, preserve all methods, properties, and fields, even if they're unused. Okay, so we apply that to all members. Okay, that makes sense. Partial class. A class definition can be split across multiple files. Really? Is this just a C# thing, or is this also true in Python, Java, or JavaScript? I have never heard of this before. Can you give me an example? Okay. So a class definition can be split across multiple files. So we just have partial class and then partial class in another file, and we define different methods and variables. That's okay. The compiler merges them into one class at build time. Interesting. Okay, useful for auto-generated code. Designer files, developer written code. Actually, that kind of makes sense. I just have never heard of that before. Huh. Okay. Defines another part. Okay. Together they form SQLite connection. Alright, so let's press go and let it do its thinking. I'm almost out of coffee, which is now I am out of coffee, which is a sign that this video is about to come to a close. Okay, so here, difference between protected and private. Private access only inside the class where it's defined. Yep. Child classes cannot see it. Awesome, we got that. Okay. Yep. That makes sense. Good. Can all methods be overwritten by child classes? No, only methods marked as virtual, abstract, or already override can be overwritten. Really? By default, methods are not virtual. They cannot be overwritten. You can hide them with new, but that's not true overriding. So public void normal here, public virtual void special. Okay, so you can overwrite this one. That works. Okay. Um hmm. So example of here. This allows for passing a variable number of arguments without explicitly creating an array. So we can just take in as many arguments as we want. I think the C++ has like a dot dot dot, and or maybe it's C uses dot dot dot, which is required in like printf. Okay, so I'm gonna say first question is um, uh, is this special to C sharp? I don't recall needing to do this in Python, Java, or JavaScript. All right, so number 2 is this similar to the C and C++ idea of dot dot dot, which I remember seeing. Okay, can you recall my memory on the dot 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 within C++? Okay. So we can just take in multiple things. Okay. And then iterate through those. There we go. There we go. So yes, the attribute and the @ sign for Java Spring Boot, they are conceptually similar. So in C#, attributes are written in square brackets. Okay, now the world is starting to make a little bit of sense. Cool. So partial classes and splitting across files. So in C#, you can declare partial class person and then partial class person. That's kind of what I was expecting, and then you would have different methods within them, and then it combines them into one class. Okay. So is this unique to C#? So Python, no direct partial classes, but you can extend classes dynamically by importing monkey patching. Okay. Java, no partial classes, but you can split code using inner classes and interfaces. Not the same. JavaScript, no partial. No wonder I have never heard of partial classes, because the 3 languages that I utilize, the 3 object-oriented programs that I utilize. C obviously does not count because it's not object-oriented, but the 3 OOP languages that I know about, none of them implement this partial class idea. So this is kind of Yes, unique to C Sharp. So JavaScript, but you can extend prototypes. Huh. Okay. I have never heard of any of those. Can you explain what they are and give me examples of each? Okay. So this is kind of getting a little bit long. I'm going to press enter just because it's getting long. Actually, what might have been at the end anyways. Yeah, we're at the end anyways. Okay. So, overriding methods, is this special to C Sharp? Yes. The requirement to mark methods as virtual or abstract before they can be overwritten is special to C Sharp and other statically typed languages in the .NET family. So, C Sharp, by default, methods are not virtual. You must explicitly mark them as virtual or abstract to allow overriding. Java, all non-final instance methods are virtual by default. There we go. Okay. You don't need to mark them. You just use override in the sub. Yep. That's what I'm used to, is just override, and you can do that to everything that's not marked as that like final. If it's final, then okay, well then you have a problem, but unless you explicitly say like, hey, you can't overwrite this, then you're good. Python, everything is virtual by default. Once again, okay, yep. JavaScript, prototype-based methods can be overwritten by defining them prototype or instance. Okay, so this, no wonder I didn't really know about this, because it's kind of something which is more taken seriously in the C# environment, I guess. Okay, so yes, the params object array, PS, is similar to the variadic functions in C and C++. So variadic functions for print all, you do this with just 3 dots as one of the parameters, and it just means take in everything else. And then how do you actually get those? So va args. Okay. Args count. Then we're iterating up to that count, and then we get the value and print the value. Okay. Means variable number of arguments. You must manually extract them using macros. Okay, so then we have the macro, which is here. Okay. Okay. Partial classes like concepts in other languages. Okay, so monkey patching in Python. Python doesn't have partial classes, but you can dynamically add methods to a class after it's defined. So we have this say hello. So we have, no, sorry, we have this person class here, which has a method called hello, which, if you notice, the like indentation is on the same indentation here. And I'm guessing we want to take this method and force it into person. So person dot say hello, person dot say hello, so you're dynamically like creating a method, equals say hello. Oh. Okay. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, fine. The inner classes, outer, inner, greet. I remember seeing outer and inner classes in Java. I have not fully like looked at that. So outer and inner classes, and then we have inside the inner class we have this just print line statement. Public class main here, outer dot inner equals here. Okay, that might actually need to be an investigation unto itself. JavaScript prototypes. Person. Prototype, say hello function, and then we pass in. Okay. Okay, fine. That's fine. Okay. So, I think I still have a lot of topics that I need to cover. This was just literally one point, is to try to understand the SQL, uh, the way that C# interacts with SQLite and how we actually get those things to interact with each other. I also need to try to figure out why we have these dollar signs here, and in our code, it seemed like it was looking for, I forget what it was saying, like question marks. Yeah, it was looking for question marks and not the dollar sign. So I need to go and investigate that. But I am going to go and fill up on more coffee. So I will leave this video here, and I'm going to be right back in a little bit, and we are going to continue right where we left off and continue learning, continue investigating. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, subscribe. I would love to have you along on the journey. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I'll see you guys very soon.